Right, the classic Squiffer is a middleweight charger, and it's a bit of a short-range charger, if you will. I mean, not actually short-range, but shortest range of them. It's 300 damage like the charger and the YouTuber. Pretty standard there. Taps to 50. The charger's really fast, make up for what the range is. But here, this is sometimes struggle a bit approaching. It's not still more than our average shooters, of course. Like if you're like this far away, it's close sometimes. Especially if the student has actual high ground instead of standing on normal ground. So that means you need to be close if it's on high ground, obviously. Right, more about how the weapon operates, its painting pattern. Pretty good coverage. I guess pretty common for chargers, honestly. The paint you can do partial. It's probably honestly better than tap spam. You know, this one does have really fast charges. You'll notice this as well when come to partials. Right about fighting, let's talk about lessers first. Like most chargers, this pierces. So if you see crowds of lessers, then just put them a bunch. Oh yeah, right, I forgot one important thing. What is unique to the Squiffer is it has max charge speed while jumping. No other charger has that. They are like a bit slower, so you do not want to jump with them, but with Squiffer you can jump while charging for increased mobility. However, it's completely fine if you just do not do it to not mess with your aim and stuff. If you're not used to it, then play it safe and play on the ground as usual. Charger. It's worth learning this still. Sometimes difference and let you move just a little bit faster. Planning out your paths well and stuff. The champs, of course, they get one shot by 300 damage. Small frays also get one shot by tap shots. Cohogs, wanna do is double tap and charge any order. That will kill a Cohog. Or multiple even, I mean you can do 300 to multiple and then taps to kill 2. However, at that point you might also consider just doing a double full charge. If not calculated what is faster, but if there's even more than the 2 cogs, then just do double full charge and the hits of course are exactly one shot. 100 HP bosses, the fastest way to kill them is to just do 2 full charges. The Bristler's torpedo all weapons. Or 3 full charges exactly. 6 shots, 4 full charges, and if there are multiple, line yourself up so that you're piercing them, so you can save a few shots there. Yeah, in case you wondered for how many shots this thing can do total, it is 11 shots total, are 1, 2, 3, 3 with a bomb. That was also there back. Didn't change the. The damage per second of this pretty close to splatter shot. However, effectively it can be more because this pierces. This is the rhythm with this. You can get a pretty fast rhythm down with this. You need to not forget about aiming while doing all of this, of course. However, you do need to take your time, then feel free to do so. You don't want to do is shoot away all your ink for nothing and be sitting there with enemies still alive. Alright, another thing you can do also, like with not all chargers, but the basic ones for sure. You can keep a charge stored. And this is especially useful for steel hits when you are like a little bit too close and need to back off to not get hit by something threatening to stab you. or when you're too far away and need to move in. Far away, charge, let's move in. Useful here. Also really useful in Elite. Split chargers, the one with, I'd say. Right, those were the HP bosses anyway. Let's talk about statics. Fish stakes, you ideally don't wanna do them like with most chargers. Yeah, if you have to, you can get like a little bit of a high ground. You can shoot the flag from the ground, otherwise you can claim the fish stake. There's some kind of perfect rhythm that you can get them all in one round trip. It's also easy to fail that. Careful there. Stingers, also like with most of the basic chargers. There are two ways to kill them. One way is to get close and quick power shots for 60 for every pot. You do that 7 times and you knock out the stinger. Shot again like this. This is actually really fast for the Squiffer. Charges fast, so 60 fast. So don't be too fast. I guess I failed it a few times here. Anyway, should get a good feel for it eventually. The other option is throw a bomb at it, then approach and then tap at a bench. Then only for the topmost part you need to do the partial, or you can also do double tap. It is a few frames slower, but you know, if you're just tap spamming and not counting, then it's still fine. If you do actually pay attention to it and keep your aim on perfectly and stuff, then try to partial the topmost part for the fastest possible kill. You forget. Upper, of course, I mean you get the paint coverage here, but if the zone gets contested by lessers, then chances are you're gonna paint it so low. You're there. Repar shield, guards, kill. Yeah, pretty much it here. But for the night waves, not too much to say here. Try to avoid the small fries for gorillas if possible. I mean, the way most of the maps in this game works, it's hardly possible in my experience. Maybe use specials if teammates are really not doing it. Tap them if it's not too many and they're all coming from one direction. Yeah, you certainly hope not to. Then on other night waves, and this charger is really nice for lessers, so free to kill the lessers from time to time. Especially on Mad Math, you can just go after those chumps and quirks that are spawning. In other night waves, it's more of a situational thing, of course. You can go seeking, you primarily still wanna do DPS. Rush, yeah right, Rush. In Rush you definitely wanna focus goldies. But whenever there's downtime and no one else is doing it, you can also like pierce lines of chumps to filter. Yeah, focus goldies, that is your top priority with this. You're dealing more than half damage to them in one shot, and you can totally just solo them if you time your shots well enough. Yeah, that is all about the Squiffer. Pretty technical charger, but strongest, possibly, or likely even. Only I could rival it, but they are very different from each other, so that comparison doesn't make sense anyway.